the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame studios. TK joining us over at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood, where they're getting ready for a big Mardi Gras weekend with all the catering orders and things like that. And today's show, we're going to get into topics like LSU baseball, Tommy and I's reaction to Wednesday night. They got beat 11-6. It actually was worse than that if you were there. The Tigers overwhelmed at Louisiana Tech. I was there. We'll give you some thoughts on that game. The LSU 3-1. They'll be 7-1 after this weekend when they take on Towson and Southern. So you're not going to learn anything early about them this weekend, although you hope they pick it and throw it a lot better than the 5 errors they had on Wednesday night. We'll break that down. Also, LSU men's and women's basketball, where they're at right now, what it means moving forward. I was able to catch some of the LSU women's basketball game last night on the way back from Lafayette, from UL Lafayette, doing some stuff. Of course, Major League Baseball, they've got a deadline, a self-imposed deadline that they've got coming forward on Monday. If they don't get it all in, they're going to push back the start of Major League Baseball if they don't get an agreement by Monday. And some other stuff in the world of sports as well, including Brian Kelly, 2 days of press conferences, and Tommy has some reaction to that. Let's bring in TK from Tremonti's. Good morning, everybody. Stephen and gang. Make sure you like and share, please. Please like and share this video. Help us out. Get the word out. Tommy, the first story will go in chronological order of the week. Go back all the way to Wednesday at the same time that the LSU baseball is taking on Louisiana Tech in Buffalo-like weather. And I say Buffalo because – ironically, we were honoring at the game Kyle Williams, the former LSU Tiger great who lives in Ruston, where Louisiana Tech is. He's the defensive coordinator at Ruston High, where he played. But he spent most of his career, all of his career with the Buffalo Bills, a 6-time all Pro Bowler. And we honored him because he's going into the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame in June. He was at the game. And when I was texting with him before the game, meeting up and all that, I said, this feels like Buffalo weather. And when I saw him, he said, dude, this is like Buffalo in April. It's Buffalo is this is like when it's getting close to being summertime when it's 36 and spit and rain. But it was not nice on Wednesday. What was your just takeaway from the game?
My takeaway is I was impressed with Louisiana Tech. Okay, Lane Burroughs has done a good job, and Ronnie, I didn't know till I looked up some stuff that Mitch Gaspard's on that staff, and I've always thought he was a heck of a baseball guy, and he's bounced around a few places, but including I think he was head coach at Northwestern State at one time. But Louisiana Tech, their pitcher did a great job, left-hander throwing that breaking ball. Their crowd was into it, and they started fast. They put the inevitable 2 up in the first inning, and then another 2 in the second inning, and LSU just never dug out of that hole. You give Tech some credit. That's a big win for them that'll factor into the RPI later in the year. And there's no problem with LSU losing to the 15th ranked team on the road. It's probably a good learning experience. They got racked around a little bit, way too many errors, some things they got to clean up, and they'll clean that up this weekend against Towson and Southern.
Chance saying LSU seemed to have trouble with artificial turf. Well, they would be the only team in the country that had trouble with artificial turf, because anytime a team goes to artificial turf, their fielding percentage goes up, not down. And so that makes no sense that the turf had the issue. A couple of things here, Tommy. I actually not shocked at all that LSU lost the game. In fact, I thought it was going to be a double-digit game. I thought both teams would hit score in the double digits. I thought maybe a 15-14, a 13-12 kind of game, something like that. So Tech did their part. They got to 11 runs, and they looked like a team that hit the ball all over the field. LSU just didn't really get anything going offensively till the middle innings, and then they shut it down after that. I thought a couple of things. I thought, one, it was a lot of times that first road game, if you go back and you look at the Pulmonary era and stuff like that, that first road game against a decent opponent is usually not very good, right? Your team, it's a learning curve for them. This was the first home game against LSU for Louisiana Tech in 25 years. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One, the last time they went 25 years ago, I'm not sure if they lost or not. That was the Skip Bertman era, but I know it was a miserable experience. I know I heard about it was an older stadium back then. The student section or the rowdier fans were sitting on top of LSU's dugout back then, which back then was the third base line. And I can remember stories of players telling me that, some of the students or whatever, or fans, took urine, put them in cups, and were like dumping the urine on top of the players, or dumping, throwing it on them and stuff like that from above the dugout. So it was a miserable experience. And so that's kind of why Skip didn't go back there, and Smoke didn't go back there for a long time. When Paul Maneri became the coach in 2007 or fall of 2006, and he told me this personally, that he called all the major schools in the state of Louisiana, the McNeeses, the Nichols, the ULMs, the Techs, Raging Cajuns even, and said, look, how about this? As long as you guys commit to coming to Baton Rouge every year and playing me, then I will commit to coming to you once every 4 or 5 years in a rotation type thing. And at the time, Louisiana Tech and ULM said no. They both said, no, we don't want to do that deal. And so like, oh, okay. So because they wanted a home and home, or they wanted every other year LSU come or something like that. And when they wouldn't commit to that, they were like, okay, we're out. So Shake at ULM, Semino at Louisiana Tech, both said, we're not doing that deal. And so from that time to now, it took 15 years later for them to get back on the schedule. And they played like a team it was the biggest game. That's a team that's average age. Tommy's probably 23. I mean, it's an older team, a lot of 5th and 6th year players. They only lost one offensive player from a regional host team a year ago. And they threw a couple of their big dog arms. And their starting pitcher was very good. He's their guy. So it didn't surprise me they lost. It didn't surprise me Louisiana Tech looked good. It didn't surprise me that Louisiana Tech scored double digits. What did surprise me was 5 errors, which is just inexcusable, turf field or not, and the fact that LSU really wasn't competitive offensively in the first 3 innings or so, even with that dominant lineup.
Yeah, and I can't buy into the turf thing now. So much travel ball is played on turf now, and summer programs that play on turf. That's an excuse, and no sense making an excuse. They made errors. They got to clean that up. You can't give guys extra at bats. You can't give teams 4 or 5 outs in a half inning. I mean, it's going to catch up to you. So we'll see. I'm not worried about it. They weren't going to go 56-0. We all know that, and they lost to a good team. LSU did. So we'll just have to see what happens.
A couple things here. Darren saying that, looking ahead regarding the rotation, Money versus OU, talking about the series in Minute Maid, not this weekend, next, Hilliard versus Texas. I think that's too far into the future, Darren. This weekend we know LSU's going to play 4 games. They've got 18 arms. I don't think this team really knows what people's roles are going to be and how they're going to use them yet. It's very much, they have an idea. They've seen things in practice, but until you put them under the lights, you don't know that Merrifield's going to, get nervous and struggle over there at third base and make a bunch of errors until you put them out there in a tough situation, in cold weather, wet ball, on the road. How are people going to react? Well, when it comes to the rotation, let's talk Money. Last week he was amazing. I expect this week he's going to probably be very good as well. He's taking on Towson or Southern or whatever. For Hilliard, this is a bounce back weekend. He's got to come back and look like the Hilliard of, May of last year, because I don't think with all the unknowns and all the factors and all the talented arms, but inexperienced arms, I don't think that you see them just sit back and let Hilliard have, say, 2 bad outings in a row and they just wear it. I think they'll change it up. So Floyd is a guy that obviously looked good last week. I'm curious to see how Floyd.
All right, Ronnie has frozen up on us a little bit. We'll let you know that Tremonti's Meat and Seafood lunch special today is fried catfish topped with crawfish etouffee. They'll have some boiled crawfish ready about 3:30 today. Tremonti's Meat and Seafood in Baton Rouge. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram. Don't forget Sports Shorts Radio tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. to 12 noon. We'll be at the Stadium Club Sports Bar and Grill in the LeBaris Casino in Baton Rouge, 10 a.m. to 12 a.m. On 104.5 ESPN. And don't forget Sunday nights, Hold the Rope Radio with Skip Bertman and Dan Canterbury and myself. Hold the Rope Radio, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Sunday night. We'll recap all the action at the box. We'll be at Sammy's Grill on Highland. That's where we're at on Sunday nights. So check it out. Follow Hold the Rope Radio on Facebook. We'll do a little Facebook Live here as we wait for Ronnie to jump back in with us here on Sports Shorts Daily on a Friday morning. Where'd this cold weather come from, huh? What's going on here? I mean, we wake up and all of a sudden we got all this cold weather. I'm thinking, man, it was 80 degrees yesterday, and now it's like cold. I mean, I don't understand it. What's going on? And, of course, Mardi Gras time and all the parades as we fill in for you. Looking at some of the questions. Stephen, that thing ain't going to work at the Shrine on airline because that's not really a baseball stadium no more. They play soccer. They play high school football. It's a good idea, but it's not going to happen. Do we take questions on Hold the Rope? Yes, you submit them in on Facebook. You can watch us on Facebook Live. You can submit the questions for Hold the Rope Radio with Skip Bertman and Dan Canterbury. In fact, this week we got John Brady, former Tiger basketball coach. He'll be our guest, as well as Ken Trahan of Crescent City Sports. He'll also be our guest. Let's see. Rachel says, when do the Tigers play this weekend? They play tonight, tomorrow afternoon, and they have a doubleheader on Sunday. It's like noon and 5 p.m. Check the website. There we go. We're going to swing by Sammy's. Check us out on Sunday night. Hold the Rope Radio with Skip Bertman, Dan Canterbury, Coach John Brady. Not sure if he's going to be in person or if he's going to be on the phone, but we're going to make it happen for you on Sunday night with Hold the Rope Radio. Don't forget Sports Shorts Radio tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 12 noon with Ronnie Rance, Joel Davis, myself. I don't know if Buzzy Hydell's going to show up or not. That's always a mystery. 10 a.m. to 12 noon on 104.5 ESPN. And obviously that's where Hold the Rope is as well, 104.5 ESPN, Sunday night, 7 to 9. So looking forward to seeing everybody. Everybody, don't forget to like and share this video. As I'm rambling on, waiting for Mr. Ronnie Ranch, the Jumbo, to reconnect with us here at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood on this Friday morning. I'm ready for the weekend. I think everybody is, but I didn't see this cold weather coming, huh? Where'd that come from? But it is what it is. All right, don't forget to like and share this video. That helps out us tremendously. It's free, but we ask you to like and share it and let other people know about it. We're here Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday mornings. In fact, we're changing up the location schedule a little bit. Starting next Monday, the 28th, this coming Monday, we'll be at Court Street Cafe in Port Allen on Monday. We'll be at Tremonti's on Wednesday and Friday. Tremonti's going to be closed on Mondays for the next couple of months. So we're going to go to Court Street Cafe on Monday, Tremonti's on Wednesday and Friday. So, oh, yeah, here we go. Forgot they transformed the Shrine. Again, there won't be any more baseball in there. All right. All right, we got Ronnie back. I've just been rambling about Sports Shorts Radio and Hold the Rope Radio. And
so I thought I was on. By the way, I thought I was on and you were off, so I was rambling too. All right.
All right. Well, no, I think they heard me because they kept commenting and they were talking about what I was saying. So
all right. So I'll let you take a breath and a sip of water while I.
Let me get a little Coke Zero here.
All right.
Go, Ronnie. You got the floor.
All right, so Nookie, Ronnie having a stroke while watching Lloyd Courtney and the Liberty Flames video. By the way, the super intern Lloyd, who's been an intern with the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, and of course now works on the Jordy Culotta show, and he did Sports Shorts forever. It's a funny video. It's worth a search on YouTube or something. The Liberty, University of Liberty baseball team came out with a video to promote their new. Baby blue uniforms, the ones like Ole Miss wears. And there's a guy who sings the Celine Dion song in the video for the Liberty baseball team that looks like he could be Lloyd's brother. It's pretty funny. I wanted to react. Tommy, scroll up a little bit to some of the earlier comments. I wanted to talk about someone had mentioned the Wally Pontiff Classic. Go ahead and pop that one up about the comment about the Wally Pontiff. A few buddies and I were kicking around the idea about having a 4-day weekend early in the season for the Wally Pontiff Classic at the Shrine on Airline. All the Louisiana baseball teams playing a tournament style. Two things about that. One, I agree that'd be amazing if you got all the teams from Louisiana and they some kind of tournament or round robin, or you got everybody in one building and early in the season. That'd be awesome. The bad news is it wouldn't be at the Shrine on Airline. They no longer have a baseball field. It's now the home of the NOLA Gold rugby team, and they've converted the field into a rugby field, and so no more baseball can be played there. So you would have to play it at an LSU, or maybe you rotate it amongst UL. It's never going to happen because too many teams would be giving up home weekends or gates or that sort of thing, and LSU gets to play them all at home anyway. But I do like the idea. If they had the dome, which they don't, the dome turf field went away after Katrina. It got flooded, so they never replaced it. So there's just no real perfect venue for anything like that, and that's a shame because that would be really, really cool.
It's a great idea, but it's not going to happen. What you're going to see is what we got this weekend, where there's 3 teams: Towson, Southern, and LSU. Last weekend they did that with some other teams. You're going to see a little bit of that in the preseason, and then the Southeastern Conference obviously won't be doing it once they start play. Now the Southland, last year they played 4 conference games on the weekend. Are they doing that again?
No, three games.
They went back to 3. Okay, that's there because they don't have the pitching to do 4 every weekend.
Oh, okay. You're talking about well, with the what, Tommy, worth a look on Google because I'm not 100% sure because I know the Southland Conference.
Well, I could look up. Let me look up.
They changed the number of teams and all that kind of stuff. They've had some major overhauls going on in the Southland this year.
I'm pulling up the Southeastern schedule. Actually, let me see when they get to conference play.
The catch-22 of the 4-game schedule is obviously pitching takes a giant
I know, like
hit.
they're playing Nichols, it's 3 games. They're playing Lamar, 3 games. So they went back to 3. Texas Corpus Christi, 3. UNO, 3. Okay, so the Southland is back to the 3-game conference weekend, which is probably a real good idea for them.
It's a good idea, but I was really surprised last year and of course 2 of the 9 games on the weekend were a doubleheader, 7-inning doubleheader. Okay, so
right.
You save 4 innings there, so it's really 3.5 games, I guess, really. But I expected that game 4 would be just stupid. We'd see the stupid score all the time on game 4. 15, 14 types, and it wasn't. It wasn't the case. I was really surprised that even on game, but that's because of the 2 7-inning games in the middle there. It saved it a little bit. But I was surprised that the scores weren't as crazy. But no doubt the coaches don't want to play 4 games in a weekend. I don't care what conference you're in. And the SEC doesn't want to play 4 games on a weekend. Some questions about LSU baseball by Stephen Miller says, does Milazzo and McManus split the games this weekend and get 2 each behind the plate? There are some lineup questions, Tommy, that LSU baseball's got to answer because they have just one. Let's just call it like it is. Berry, the All-American transfer from Arizona, is a liability defensively. Like, doesn't matter where you put him. You put him at third, you put him in right, ball's going to find him. He's going to struggle. He's going to make errors. So you got to play Joe Bear at the moment. He's got to play, right? Milazzo's out for the year. Joe Bear, you got to play him. So Joe Bear can do one of 2 things. He can either DH or he can play outfield. If you assuming you're going to go Dugas and Cruz in center, and ideally you want to DH Berry. Now you're playing the dance in the game with his agent and the kid transfer, and you made some promises, and he's going to be draft eligible this year, and he's going to be a high pick, and you got to let him play some defensively because it's going to hurt his draft stock. So you have to deal with that delicate dance. But if ideally you DH Berry, you put Joe Bear, say, in right field, and then you worry about the infield. And you can either, A, leave Doty at second base and then just try a bunch of people at third and wear it. Or you can move Doty to third, which is probably your best bet defensively of what you have. And then you figure out second, whoever it is, whether it's Bianco, Safford, combination, Merrifield, whatever. You just rotate and worry about second because that's the easiest position to play on the infield, and everything else is set. Steven's asking about Milazzo and McManus. McManus had more homers than anybody in the fall. We expected that McManus would be the catcher the majority of the time. Milazzo would fill in kind of late game scenario, stuff like that. McManus had some injuries, allowed Milazzo some opportunity. But Milazzo is clearly the better defensive catcher than McManus. But I'd like to see McManus win the job because that means he's swinging it. Right. So whether they go 2-2, I don't know, but they got to start playing McManus if he's healthy to see if he can get that magic back from the fall when he just dropped 10 bombs or whatever during the fall.
Yeah, that's the key. I think you hit a lot of the nails on the head there, basically running through the defensive lineup. And, yeah, they got to figure out third base, second base, outfield. There's some things they got to figure out. Well, that's why you have pre-conference games and midweek games to get some of them things figured out. Because the opponent in Houston next weekend is going to be much tougher than what they're playing this weekend. And conference play is not that far away.
Tommy, the hardest thing for Jay this year is going to be to manage that lineup to keep everybody happy. You notice I didn't mention the name Giacomo, and I'm a big Giacomo fan. I would, I know he's frustrating for coaches because he swings and misses a lot for a fast guy. He swings the balls out of the zone. He doesn't have great zone coverage. Milazzo hit 143. I see. But McManus hasn't gotten it going yet either.
Here's the other thing about Milazzo. When he swings and misses, he misses by like a foot. He's not on anything. I mean, he's a liability at the plate.
I like Giacomo in center, Cruz in right. I mean, that's what I like. But then what happens?
Barry?
What happens there is you'd have to DH Joe Bear, and then you'd have to play Barry at third, and you're just going to have to wear it.
Or second. Can he play second, I wonder?
I saw him play second in a spring and a fall game, and it was bad there too. So who's going to get more balls? Maybe like a lot of schools move their best. Like Doty could move from second to third depending on if it's a lefty or righty, that kind of thing. A lot of teams do that. They take their best infielder and, up lefty's up. All right, you need to move over to second. Righty's up. You need to move over to third or short or whatever. Maybe that's worth doing. I hate it, but that's the rules allow you to do that.
I would stick Barry at third because most guys don't pitch consistently inside to righties. The ball's going to be middle of the plate or away. And, and if they pull it, it ought not be hit hard enough that where Barry could make the play. But it's up to Jay Johnson. We'll see what he does.
The other thing, too, is bunting, right? If he's over at third, I mean, bunt. Make that guy be athletic, make that guy throw on the run. I don't know. It's a good problem. And by the way, we didn't mention Cody Drost is the name we didn't mention. There's so many players that right now that the biggest issue. Obviously, you want to figure out what your best lineup is, but you got to keep guys engaged. You got to get them some at bats and something, and they just got so much depth on the offensive side that is going to be a problem. And also, they got 18 pitchers, so not enough innings for 18 pitchers to stay happy and to try to figure them out. All right, let's move on. Let's talk LSU women's hoops for a minute. Last night they had senior night. I wound up making it by there on my way back from Lafayette. How about this stat, which was unbelievable, Tommy? And I'm not a giant fan of women's basketball. Let me just put it out there. If you listen to this show, I mean, it's equivalent to me to junior high basketball. But anyway, it's clumsy. It's whatever. I mean, the fact that they have some dudes they picked up in a biology class that form a team, and then that's who they practice against to get ready for the number one ranked South Carolina. I mean, that's all you need to know about. Right. It's just awkward. But I love the fact what LSU's doing. Kim Mulkey deserves her money. It's amazing. They had over 105,000 fans through the turnstiles this year for LSU women's basketball. That is more than the previous 4 years combined. And they're top five, and I think I saw the number. They're either third, fourth, or fifth. Maybe fifth or sixth in the country in attendance. So they went from nobody giving a crap about women's basketball. I couldn't have told you their record a year ago after the season if you put a gun in my head. Had no clue. We know they won 9 games. Didn't know that till Kim Mulkey got the job. But they went from nobody caring, nobody going, to top 10 in the country in team, top 10 in the country attendance, and up there is one of the greatest attended seasons LSU's ever had.
Well, first off, everybody loves a winner, and this is obviously a winning team, winning program. But I think you got to give the credit to Kim Mulkey for selling her program and getting people in, and convincing people to, hey, don't wait till we win 20 games to come see us, or whatever her quote was. I mean, she has made the difference, her and her staff. And again, everybody loves a winner, so you put that in Kim Mulkey, what she's done to market the program and get the word out. That's remarkable. It's a great job. And, again, we'll tip our hat to Scott Woodward for making it happen to hire Kim Mulkey. So it's in a good spot, and I think it's going to be in a good spot for years to come.
We'll see. Can they knock off the Dragons, South Carolina? Can they get to the finals in 1 versus 2 in the SEC finals? That'd be a great story. Let's talk LSU men's hoops. The Tigers Wednesday at the same time. LSU's playing Louisiana Tech in baseball. They're up in Kentucky. They've got a lead at halftime, Tommy. It's looking good. Their defense is smothering. They hold Kentucky to 23 points in the first half. I mean, unbelievable. LSU's going to cruise to a win. They give up 50-plus points in the second half after you held Kentucky to under 25 in the first half. It's like they literally are a different team. The inconsistency is maddening. I don't know how Will Wade holds it together.
Well, Ronnie, their defense was incredible in the first half. Kentucky did not make a three-pointer in the first half the other night. And I told some guys I was watching the game with, I'm like, Kentucky's going to win this game. I actually bet them live on the money line at halftime, plus $1.45, because I knew they were going to come back and win. Now, I had laid 7 at meatandpotatoesusa.com. And, of course, they were up 15 with 2 minutes to go and didn't cover. They had some turnovers down the stretch. But it goes back to what we said the other day, Ronnie. Somebody told me this weekend out of the ballpark, when LSU basketball plays, they're never out of the game, but neither is the opponent. And Kentucky got it done. They haven't lost at home all year. LSU really looked great in the first half, and then the second half was just awful. I mean, it credits some of that to Kentucky because they are a good team, obviously, and they had lost at home. But it's just inconsistency galore with LSU Tiger men's basketball.
It's really maddening and frustrating. This was a team going into the season that, was a lock to be an NCAA tournament team. The question was just how far they're going to go. Most people thought, probably the ceiling was win 2 games, get to the Sweet 16. And then there was a stretch at the beginning of January where, they had a couple of these mock polls and these mock, boards and stuff for postseason. Going to the Final Four, that's not happening.
No.
At this point, they're in the NCAA tournament, if you to believe Lenardi, and he's usually pretty right. But to me, they're limping down the stretch, and even if they get to the NCAA tournament, probably at best is a coin flip to get a win.
I agree completely. I mean, I think they'll be in the tournament. Shelby Mast, M-A-S-T, that's the guy, bracketologist I like to follow. I followed him for years and years. He used to be on the radio a lot at 9, 10 a.m. back in those days, and I got to know him, and he does a good job. But LSU's going to be in the tournament. It's just you can't they might get hot and win a game or two, but they might just blow it. I mean, they might get run out the gym in the first game. Too much inconsistency. There's not a real good offense. They got a lot of players. Somebody else told me this, Ronnie. They're like a junior college team. They got a lot of athletes and a lot of players. It's just not a good team concept.
Yeah, I would say that, and it's been that way since Will Wade's been there, for the most part. And that's been a problem. And is that a knock on Will Wade? Is that a knock on the players? Probably a little bit of both. The fact that they've just never been able to get them to truly buy in as one heartbeat kind of thing. That's definitely not the case. With the NIL world, man, and everybody with their own agenda and everybody's own brand, and nobody that plays basketball in the SEC, Tommy, that's a big player. I mean, a top 7, 8 player on their team. I guarantee you every player in the SEC that's a top 7 or 8 player on that team outside of maybe Vanderbilt. And I wouldn't even necessarily say for sure, but maybe Vanderbilt. They all thought were surprised they're in college. They all thought they were going to be a one and done. They all have expectation of going to the league and think they will be in the league. And it's all unrealistic. But you as a coach have to feed into that BS because you want to keep them happy and you want to get them to come to your program and not leave. So you got to, yeah. When you know, no chance. But you can't say that. And so these guys have an unrealistic expectation of themselves. They don't realize their own talents, and it's just it's maddening. How you can play defense as good as they did in the first half, Tommy, and then just absolutely fall off the earth in the second half and look like they put a whole new team on the court. I don't know that I've ever seen a transformation. I mean, we have, but I can't remember. I mean, it's just unbelievable. It's terrible.
Their defense was amazing, especially out on the perimeter. And again, Kentucky didn't make a 3, but I think they only attempted 5 in the first half because LSU was just playing defense like a championship team plays defense, but they couldn't sustain it, like you said.
Let's see. Steven saying, where do we start to look at what's causing these shortcomings on LSU men's basketball? Yeah, I mean, that's an internal thing that Scott Woodward's got to do. I think with Will Wade, if indeed, any of this NCAA stuff ever comes to light again, which it's amazing. The guy's got a Cinderella shoe up as that he's still there, and then it's not a topic anymore. But not playing well and all that, the inconsistency, the frustration, that definitely could hurt him one day if there's a decision to be made. I'll say this, LSU and Will Wade, they recruit mofo, Tommy, even with the cloud over them, and it's been that way since he got there. It doesn't matter the record. It doesn't matter what we're hearing on yahoo.com. They are recruiting, got their head down. They're selling, and they're to be commended by that because there is talent there.
Yeah, I think he needs to bring in an assistant coach that can put an offense in and get the kids to buy into it because they're so athletic. I mean, they can run the floor. They make some incredibly athletic plays. There's just there's no flow to the offense.
Steven saying 3 games left. Don't you think they need to go 2-1 and then win one in the SEC for a surefire spot in the dance? Yeah, that would lock them up. I mean, that would put them in 100%. But according to all the polls and the prognostications, man, they're solidly in. Now, they go 0-3 and don't win in the SEC tournament. Yeah, they're out. But if you're to believe everything that people that are smarter than us, they seem to be in there. Please like and share this video. One final thought, Tommy, tell us about Major League Baseball, the latest.
Yeah, the negotiations have been every day this week and again today down in Jupiter, Florida. And according to the reports I'm reading, they're not coming close to making an agreement. They have stated if there's no agreement by this coming Monday the 28th, then they'll have to delay the start of the regular season. Obviously, spring training is already delayed. Regular season was scheduled to be March 31. So here's going to be, do they delay it for 2 weeks or do they delay it for a month or do they just say, hey, we got to wait till we figure something out? The only good thing is that they are meeting every day down in Jupiter, Florida. Let's hope something happens over the weekend where they can come to some kind of an agreement and, get this thing figured out because everybody wants baseball, but fans will find something else to do with their time and their money. I'm convinced of that.
A story that I want to touch on before we say goodbye, and we'll see you tomorrow for Sports Shorts Radio over at LeBear's Casino. We'll be there from 10 to noon. Hall of Fame, the Hall of Fame boxers, the Klitschko brothers out of Ukraine. With the war going on right now, with the invasion of Ukraine by Russia, they were on British media the other day and said they plan to fight for Ukraine. They're going to take up arms and they're going to defend their country and they're going to fight for Ukraine. That's real life stuff going on right now. And I mean, you're talking about the Klitschko brothers that have money, fame, have dated some of the most beautiful women in the world and all that. They are putting their life aside in another country and going back to defend their homeland and, may give up their life for it, the ultimate sacrifice. And man, it's just terrible what's going on over there in Ukraine. Prayers to everybody over there. It's going to cause a mess all around the world. It's going to cause a mess in Eastern Europe with all the people evacuating out of there. And it's just terrible, 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 terrible what's happening. But, I mean, those two guys are going to go fight for their country, and who can blame them?
Yeah, it's a bad situation. Hopefully, I don't think it's going to be over anytime soon, but hopefully they can figure that out.
All right, TK, we'll see you tomorrow for more Sports Shorts Daily. Sports Shorts Radio will be 10 to noon. Joel Davis will visit with us as well, and we'll have some Buzzy Heidel as well. We'll be over at LeBear's Casino. We'll talk a lot of college baseball tomorrow because we'll see, how LSU does tonight. We'll have some reaction to that and a whole lot more. Don't go anywhere tomorrow. Join us. Please like and share this video, and thanks for watching Sports Shorts Daily presented by LeBear's Casino.